Good afternoon, Casey Wilson, owner of Roseville Strength and Conditioning, and one of your hosts of the Do or Do Not podcast. And this is,
as always, I'm the lackey, Brad Erie.
He's the technical guy who still hasn't finished editing the first thing, but it's all about the templates, right?
It's all about the templates and making me look good.
It's only been a week, so he'll eventually get number one done. But this is number two, episode number 2.
We did it. We survived the week.
We did. So, basically, how was your week?
Well, working on this. You're working me to the
bone. If you were working on this the whole week, you'd have episode 1 already uploaded onto the YouTube.
When you're doing this as professional as we are, it takes all kinds. Don't mind me, my one listener. I'm making sure I'm in the yellow. All good.
You're not supposed to do that in the middle of a show.
Hey.
It's supposed to be professional.
This is only our second show. I got to be more aware of my heavy breathing and my posture because sitting next to you and going back through this thing, I'm like, yeah, he's all up front. Shoulders are out. His guns are showing.
Well,
he's sitting up straight.
I do practice what I preach, so posture's a very big
I'm all kind of slouched over. Heavy breathing.
See, I'm all closed off right now because I don't want to open up to the audience.
Yeah, that's
I'm
true.
All like this.
I'm just open so the whole audience can just get all of Brad.
Honestly, I like to stand up. Eventually, we're going to have to set this up where we have tables and stools and we can stand up and move around or something. But for right now, since we're low budget, we'll do it this way. So,
tell me about your week. What did you do? Did you wrestle any badgers? Did you go out and stalk some elk?
No.
Did you go out with your bare hands and beat people just because they are soft and girly? Did you...
Come on, man.
Manly things you're doing?
I don't do any of that. Well, I have hunted before, but I don't do any of that craziness. I'm a nice big teddy bear. That's all I am. Just a big teddy bear.
All right, debatable.
It was a good week. Got some stuff done around the house. Trained a lot of clients. Had a good night on Saturday night. On Sunday, I went on a date.
Roll back.
Yeah, that was the first date I've been on in a long time. It was a good date. She was nice. She's cute. So we'll see.
On Jennifer Connelly.
She's not
scale of 1 to 10. For 1,
I am not doing that because she may eventually see this.
To Jennifer Connelly's a 10.
I'm not saying that because Jennifer Connelly is
she
Jennifer
at least
Connelly.
Over a 5?
I'm not saying any of that, but she's an attractive woman.
All right. We're going to have to...
See, people actually might want... Like, we put this on social media and on YouTube. People might
I
actually
don't know if anyone's
so I'm not going to be like,
right.
she's like... She's a 6 on the Jennifer Connelly scale, you know, like for attractive older women. She's a good-looking woman, so I'm not going to say any numbers or anything like that. But it was a good date, good food, and so it was a good weekend. Been training, super busy today, training for DecaFit on December 1st. So, the Sacramento Convention Center. So today I did... my times have all under an hour now, so what I'm trying to do is get down a couple of more minutes by the time the race, and then hopefully during the race, because I won't have to make such small loops like I do in here.
Yeah.
I'll be able to even take some more time off during the race and get down in the low 50s.
If you really want to work on your fitness, I'll let you chase my son. I'll just come over and I'm just going to let him out the front door.
It sounds like your son
go for it,
chases
man.
You.
Yeah, it kind of goes both ways.
Yeah. So anyways, a good week.
Did you eat the cookies I left you?
No, I don't like those.
Oh, come on.
That's not my type. You know what they came out with? I actually like the peanut butter patty ones.
See, I thought about giving you those, but you know what? I wanted them, and I'm like, you know,
his daughter's a Girl Scout and had Girl Scout cookies. But
yeah.
I'm not a huge Girl Scout cookie guy, so I like the peanut butter ones, and they came out the salted caramel one this year.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, so you should have known.
Because I was pulling into my driveway,
yeah,
and this lady and her daughter stopped and let me pull in instead of made me sit out in the road. And I was like, oh, nice. And I got out and I was like, oh, thank you. You know, and they're like, you want to buy some Girl Scout cookies? They had a little trailer behind them, and I was like, they set up.
How do you say no to that?
I was like, well, yeah, since you guys, paused and let me pull in my driveway, I gotta buy it. So I bought a couple boxes, but
okay. My feelings are only a little bit hurt.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
I told
Did
you I'd
eat
buy
my
some.
Samoas.
You can have them. Well, my daughter will probably eat them. I think she likes those. She likes the lemon ones the
Your
best.
daughter's my favorite.
Yeah, she does like that. I'm a homemade cookie guy.
Okay, so that was one thing. And going through the first episode and editing it some, I realized we talked a lot about me. We didn't talk about you. So I just wanted to, before we get into further stuff, I just want you to explain to my mom, because right now she's the only guaranteed listener we have. You know,
We got
I
some
know that you
clients and
were.
friends that'll listen. We'll probably get 10 or 15 maybe.
We'll see. We'll have
Some
to
people
bet.
might actually like this, but I don't know why. I'm not an expert in anything but fitness.
Yeah,
Well, being a dad, I
and
guess.
Star Wars, you do give good. We'll get to that. Mom, he really does give good parenting advice. I know it's shocking.
Yeah.
I was shocked too, quite honestly. But he really is a good dad.
You gotta be careful when you're doing hand gestures. That camera.
I know
has
what
AI.
zooms in.
This. And then if you go like that, it'll zoom in.
It's not. Oh!
When it does, yeah, when it does that.
Whoa!
I told you, man.
I'm gonna
It's
have
state-of-the-art.
to. I'm gonna have to clip that in,
I know.
family.
That was pretty cool. See,
I'm
now it's
trying
like
to-
really up in my face now.
Yeah. Well, you gotta get a good look at the guns.
Now I'm gonna have to go.
See which gun is it gonna
Yeah,
look
it's not
at?
doing it.
Yeah, your guns aren't big enough.
Yeah, well, whatever.
So
like,
I know-
like you in the first one. Guys,
I do know that you're from California.
born and raised. I don't know if
Okay.
I'd like to brag about that, but it is Northern California, which
Yeah.
is not the retarded parts of California like the Bay Area and Los Angeles.
So how did you wind up here in beautiful Roseville talking to someone like me who you would consider a soft?
Well, I'm a generous guy, and I like to talk to the mentally challenged.
Yes. So how did you
I'm
get from
talking
there
to
to
you.
here? Since you have the better voice, the better build, the better standing up straight.
I thought I had the better technical skills until I found out you had to finish editing
You
the
can't
podcast.
touch me and my technical skills, boy.
So-
Anyways, let's hear it. Let's
All
go. Let's. I'm
Yeah,
gonna give it over to you.
So I'll try to keep it brief, just because I doubt a bunch of people want to know about my background.
We got all hour. Let's go.
But I was born and raised here, in a little town called Live Oak. I grew up at the foot of the Sutter Buttes, which is the smallest mountain range in the world, and about an hour north of where I currently live here in Roseville. And I went to Live Oak High School. I played sports year round. Had a great mom and dad, two sisters, Carrie and Jen. They're both a little, one's 2 years younger and one's 3 years younger.
Potential listeners.
Potential listeners, they'll probably listen. I'll tell them in the second episode we gave them a shout out.
Yeah.
They both, everybody, most of my family, they live down in that Yuba City, Live Oak area. Grew up on a cattle ranch, had to do a lot of manual labor growing up, which I hated when I was a kid and complained a lot, but it was really good for me and taught me a lot about work ethic and busting my ass. Basically, there wasn't a lot of free time, especially playing sports year round. I played football, wrestled, played baseball, and did track while I was playing baseball. So did all that. That was through high school. Worked in orchards during the summer.
I just want to, sorry to interrupt. When did your love of hip hop and all forms of music come in?
Well, my parents only listened to country music and a little bit of oldies, and so rock and roll oldies. So
Sorry.
as a young man, you rebel against what your parents listened to. And what was the most popular thing in the late 80s and early 90s?
Hair metal.
No, hip hop. So that was my favorite. When I was in high school,
Yeah.
Hillside, I had a Mercury Capri, which looks, it's the ones that look like a Mustang, but they're not. It was a hatchback. The whole hatchback was a speaker box, and I was always banging tunes. So I always listened to hip hop. I had one of those cars you could hear from a mile away. And then when I moved out of my house, I started listening to country. I listen to everything. I'm very eclectic.
He does.
When it
listens
comes to
a lot.
music, Metallica and George Strait are my two favorite artists, complete opposites. Luke Combs is up there. I love hip hop. I love anything that's good. I even will listen to freaking boy band stuff like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys.
And you put that on.
And
out
they're
into the
fun
world.
because I don't care. I mean, bring it, like, what are you going to say,
You're just going to flex at them and then that's it.
No, I like good songs. I don't like everything. I don't like all boy band stuff, but I like a few of those things. But I love Metallica. They're probably my favorite. I've seen them 5 times now in concert. George Strait a bunch of times. Luke Combs my current favorite. Dierks Bentley's one of my favorites, so I listen to that. But growing up, it was hip hop, but now I'm pretty eclectic because as soon as you move out of your house and you move down and go to school and stuff, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, country. And country was becoming cool back then. It was like Garth Brooks, era where it started becoming a little more mainstream than the old stuff. More. But honestly, I love the old stuff. I like the new stuff, but I also love the old stuff. Merle Haggard, Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings. I love all that stuff. So after high school, I moved down to Sacramento. I had some friends that I went to high school with I waited a year before I moved down to Sacramento. I went to Yuba College, Yuba Technological Institute.
Obviously, did not do well because he failed at the technological part.
Yeah, it's not. That's what the kind of a joke is. It's the Yuba Technological Institute. Went there for a year, did okay, and then I moved down to Sacramento. I was working at a video store. Going to school full time. Usually school suffered for it. I'm not a huge fan of learning stuff that I don't want to learn.
Yeah.
But like technical stuff.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I went off and on, like I worked, I went to school, I lived with some different friends, lived with a few girlfriends, that kind of stuff. And then finally, in my late 20s, I'd always wanted to be a cop, so I went to police academy. Made great friends in there. Police academy was great. I went to work as a police officer after some trials and tribulations of dealing with the government bureaucracies and egos. But did that and then ended up not working out as far as long-term. I'm not very good at working in any type of government organization. I would not say that I am very good at because there's a lot of bullshit.
As this podcast goes along, that will become apparent to the people figuring out, I can see why he's not.
I don't like bureaucracy. I don't like rewarding bad performance or a lack of performance or laziness. But anyway.
That's when you became a bare knuckle brawler.
No, that's when I was going to change police departments and moved to a different one, but I needed a job in the meantime because the hiring process takes a while and I did not want to work where I was working anymore. And so the hiring process takes a while. So didn't have enough money saved up. So I needed a job in the meantime. And that's when I became a personal trainer because I was a workout nut and I never looked back. I never went back to law enforcement. I loved it. I was making more money than I was making in law enforcement. 10 months later, I became a manager of a 24-hour fitness manager. After 6 months of that club, and I did very well managing that club and turning around, tripling revenue and doing a good job. I interviewed I was at the smallest club in the district. I interviewed for the biggest club and got that one after interviewing for it and worked there for almost 2 years managing that club. And that's when I eventually stepped down. I won't get into all the details, but that's when I eventually stepped down and started my own business in 2005, and it was Wilson Personal Training. And I went to people's houses, and I trained from my home, and then I finally bought my own home and had a great training studio there. And then in 2018, I bought Roseville Strength and Conditioning. It was right down the road from my house, so it worked out really well. And I've been here ever since, and even through COVID, I survived as a business person.
Then you met me.
And then this guy came in during that. Jeez, that was a downfall. They should just end the podcast right now.
Right.
No,
See you next week.
So I've just been doing that, and I've raised 2 kids. I was married, divorced, raised 2 kids. I was a single dad. Their mom wasn't involved that much after the divorce. She had them on the weekends, but then eventually moved out of state. And so I raised 2 kids. So it took up most of my time to raise them and run a business. And as soon as they got old enough that they didn't need me around that much, then I bought this place.
Started a podcast.
Because I had my gym at my house, so I had a great studio at home, so I could raise them and have them be in the house and be working and making money at the same time. They didn't need me anymore. Started looking for places, and this thing, I was looking for 2019 to move.
Yeah.
In 2000 so I put it out there in my mind. In my mind, I said, all right, it was early January 2018, and I said, 2019, I want to be in a storefront. Then 3 days later, I got an email from the guy, or a message on Facebook from the guy who owns Roseville Strength and Conditioning, saying, "Hey, I've been trying to sell my place, and I don't know how I missed you my first round of messages and emails to people, but I'm trying to sell my place." And I was like, "Well, all right, I'll take a look. That's right down the street from me." So I went, met with him. I just was doing it basically to see what his numbers were and how gathering information for when I would move a year later, or rent out of my own place and seeing what his overhead was and that kind of stuff. And then I ended up really liking the place. He's a good guy.
Should have asked him about flooding. What
he
you should have done. How often does this place flood, by the way?
Yeah. Luckily for him, it never flooded on him. So that would have been he wouldn't have had any knowledge of that crap. That horrendous thing. So so we negotiated for a few weeks, and I didn't think I was gonna, he finally came down on his price because I wasn't really ready to move, and then I was able to get the funds to buy the place and bought it. And so in March of 2018, I moved in here, and my kids are both graduated high school, and they're doing all right, and that's it.
As much crap as I give you, you are a good dad. I can't knock the hustle there.
The best thing I did as a dad is I had my kids watch 80s and 90s movies. I mean, that was the best thing.
That is
bottom line. My son.
I'm trying to get on that.
We just watched Tombstone the other day. He'd never seen Tombstone.
Oh,
I'm
God.
We missed Tombstone, and he goes, "Yeah, we missed Tombstone." And I go, "Well, we got to watch Tombstone." So
my kids are a little young for that, but I have a list of movies. We're gonna start with the original Red Dawn. To get the real patriotism going, and then we're halfway.
Top Gun is way up there.
Yeah. Right now we're
Weird Science.
Oh yeah.
Breakfast Club.
All of them. I mean,
my son loves them all.
Yeah.
And he's 18, and he literally will go on, "Dad, can you think of any more?" Like the other day, after we watched Tombstone, he goes, "Man, that was really good." And I go, "I know it is, huh?" Like Val Kilmer is.
Yeah.
That was
Young Guns. Young Guns too.
Young Guns too.
Regulators. I mean,
Marisa, I got told her about Young Guns.
See,
because she'd never seen it. I'm like, "You got to watch Young Guns," and she did. Let's see.
While you're thinking, we are at the point in my family. We are on episode 2 of the Star Wars trilogy. My daughter is just turned 9. Yes.
Did she like Jar Jar?
She loved Jar Jar.
This younger generation, I'm telling you.
She has no clue that Anakin will eventually become Darth.
Oh, really?
She's just bought in, she just has no.
Wait till she watches the next.
Yes, she has no clue. We tried to do Harry Potter, but it's a little scary for her.
My kids, my kids neither one really likes Star Wars.
Well, that's the biggest parenting fail. Everything I said about him being a parent, I take it all back.
My son, that's a failure. My son watched them and he'll say, "Oh, they're good," but they're not into it.
Oh no, my daughter. We have Star Wars 5-minute bedtime stories that we read every night. She has
There's just 5-minute stories.
They're 5-minute stories, but they cover all the episodes. They're like little bedtime things. We have Star Wars plushies, Star Wars stuffies, Star Wars action figures. She has no choice. So we're in.
It's pretty good. You remember the old Star Wars, the blue bedspreads? I had that when I was a kid. Freaking love those. I actually looked for those for my son's bed, but couldn't find it.
We have them.
I wonder if they remade them or something.
They did. They have they're very close, and they're on my son's bed. However, my son sleeps with me and could care less about TV or anything on it. Yeah. But it does make me feel better that one of the beds in my house has those classic Star Wars sheets.
That was a big deal.
Yeah.
I was a huge Star Wars guy when I was a kid. I loved Marvel, but I had Luke Skywalker with his little lightsaber and Darth Vader action figures and stuff. That, and I really liked E.T. back then.
But we were at the age of my mom knows because she's the only listener that's guaranteed to listen to this. But like before Star Wars New Hope, and then there was after Star Wars New Hope.
Well, that's just
like that's
movie
just
history,
the special
right there.
effects and going on. Even my mom came out of like, oh my gosh, like that was the greatest thing ever. So
Well, it's the genius of George Lucas.
yeah, so yep, I can't wait for my daughter to go through and learn that Anakin turned out to be Darth Vader, and then Darth Vader turns out to be spoilers. Luke Skywalker's
Spoilers.
dad. There could be people, I don't know. Don't know if some of your
I don't think
clients-
any young people are going to watch this.
Yeah. So
Everybody knows.
Yeah, she's.
You know what? All the young people watch Pitch Perfect too, and they're like, they
Wow.
talk about like Darth Vader, like.
Yeah, see, I won't let her watch. She got into Star Wars really through the Legos movie, and then kind of got into that and Star Wars and Marvel, and now we're going through.
I'm interested to find out what she thinks as far as. Like she'll get done with the prequels, and then the special effects will change
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it was the old school history. Even
Yeah.
though they were awesome, they could do a whole lot.
We're
more
gonna,
than they're
yeah. Even the re-released '90s versions, there's a kind of a jump there of less effects.
Best cartoon, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Which one?
I'm going to go deep cut here. I like the original. The guy who did Samurai Jack did like 13 episodes of the Clone Wars before they made it
So
all
you're
3D.
saying Clone Wars then?
Yeah, but it was the style of Samurai Jack. It wasn't the 3D Clone
Yeah.
Wars. It was kind of the 2D Samurai Jack
Oh,
style.
yeah.
And then it's hard to find.
As an adult, it was hard for me to do, until.
But Clone Wars, I like the Clone Wars. But here's the thing, okay? I've talked to this. Now let me get your advice. Speaking with my daughter, this is one of the major parenting things that all parents of my generation go through, is we're starting the prequels. Now, do I pause, go the Clone Wars, Rogue One, then go into?
If you're going to be accurate, yes.
Okay, so
Now, for me, my kids started with The New Hope, Empire, and Return.
You can't just have flaming Uncle Ben.
I'm sorry, but
On the side.
I showed them
No.
the best.
No.
I showed them the best first,
All right.
and then we went. But yes, I think you should, since you started her off the right way.
Yeah,
Go through there, and then after you get through the movies, you start introducing her to the books.
yeah,
Because
definitely.
the books are 10 times better than the movies.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I just mean, like, is there too much of a law? Well, you know what? She does need to learn about what happened with Anakin before he turns to the dark side. So maybe I should start sprinkling, because we just finished episode 2. So now I should, before I go to episode 3 when he turns, I should start showing her some Clone Wars while he's still on the.
Clone Wars will take a while. There's quite a few episodes.
Yeah.
You go through it pretty fast, so they're not long.
Yeah, and she'll fly through them. So, okay. That's what I'm going to do.
That's what I do.
All right, done. All right, next thing on the agenda. Now, this was supposed to be your job. I was supposed to be the editing and the graphics guy.
I
and
didn't
you
tell
were
you to come up
supposed
with an
to
agenda. I have plenty that we can
go
talk
through. I just want to ask you, what did you see this week? What have you started watching the new Mandalorian?
I'm only through episode 3.
You haven't watched the new one yet today.
No.
But what do you think of the first
all
3?
day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they don't know.
Yeah, I've been here since 6 a.m. So
Like, yeah, we're taping this on a Wednesday for those who don't care. Mom, like, if you're asking why I'm not calling you back today, this is why. You actually called me as I was walking in. But yeah, so what did you think of the first 3 episodes?
I liked them.
Okay.
The Mythosaur is interesting
Yeah.
that they're bringing that. I bought a Mythosaur shirt.
If we don't wear it next week, it's going to be.
I know. I thought it would be here by this week, but I bought the Mythosaur shirt.
And, like, where's my poster?
You know what else I bought? I bought
They're supposed to be.
$4.99 Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian with one of the helmets of the guy. The
Why isn't it on our table? Why
I know.
don't we have our poster of.
Because nobody sees it. Look it, nobody sees it, so I stopped putting them up
Yeah, but
because
we got
we're
this
zoomed
camera.
in. If we have different cameras, on
This
that,
camera here.
Yeah, it's all off now.
It is. You're completely off.
Cutting my shoulder off. I'm gonna have to like move over this way, and I don't want to get any closer to
Yeah,
Brad
you don't
than I
want
have to.
Really, like we kind of need this buffer of
Hey,
personal.
why don't you tell everybody why you haven't been working out this week?
Oh, you mean because I'm doing stuff here and not sleeping?
Flake.
So no, I think we need to stay.
How are you gonna get the
gun?
guns if you're not in there working out?
Got a little bit of. You know what? Let's zoom in. How do you zoom in? Zoom in, bro.
You have to do this. You see?
Oh, look at you! You just completely
I just
fixed
fixed
it. Get back! Get back!
No, to zoom out, you go like once it goes. You have to go like
Oh! How do you turn it to the side? I know people are like, we don't care.
put your hands in the air, wave them like you just
So
don't care.
here's my problem with The Mandalorian. I love The Mandalorian, but my wife was trying to watch it, and I'm like, okay, before you watch The Mandalorian, you got to watch like 2 episodes of Boba Fett, because then you won't understand. And then you got to watch this other thing, because it's not very linear. Like, okay, so with Mandalorian, now we're following this guy who, like, we briefly saw in season 1, like episode 5 or whatever, the cloning guy. And it's just like,
Oh yeah,
okay.
there is a lot of like
Yeah.
storylines that have
Like,
are
really
bringing little.
Yeah, so like, okay, if you
Yeah.
don't watch Boba Fett, you wouldn't
Well, just don't
understand
ever
what's
watch
going
it.
on with Mandalorian.
Just don't ever watch
the
it.
only thing. We have to have something to argue
Well, not
about.
The
Otherwise, I
Mandalorian.
love it.
Yeah, don't ever watch The Mandalorian. There's too many. If she's not really into it,
Yeah, like
'Cause
you
there's a lot of
gotta watch-
details.
Yeah, like now you gotta watch. You know, who's the other lady with the 2 lightsabers? She's coming out. My mind's gone. Come on, you're the Star Wars
the
geek.
lady with 2 lightsabers.
Yeah, 2 white lightsabers. She has her own show coming out.
Oh, Ahsoka.
Thank you. This is why I keep him. He can't figure out
I
his
thought you were
computer.
giving somebody obscure.
But you
Ahsoka,
can-
everybody should know.
Yeah.
I'm like thinking, well, is he calling Ahsoka? And I go, no, everybody knows Ahsoka.
I didn't know Ahsoka.
Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah, what he said. Yeah, like you got to watch that now. So I mean, that's the only thing. Is like
Well, yes.
that's my only.
You have to watch
complaint.
everything because they're forming it all together into
Okay.
a universe. It's like if you never watch a Captain America movie and then you watch the Avengers, it's not as good.
Yeah, so I had to explain this to my wife. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Like you can't really. It's not really for newbies to come in. Like you got to start at the beginning. You got to roll with it, or you just give it up.
No, you can't just like she's just gonna miss a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
She's like, why he took his helmet off? Like, why does that matter? Like, well, when did he get kicked out? Oh yeah, you got to watch another series.
So for
that
the
he's not in.
nerds out there, there's so much that if you read the books and go through, like
Yeah.
there's stuff that Filoni and other guy,
John
no,
Favreau.
oh Favreau, John Favreau. There's so much that those two are bringing
This
from
is what
legends.
it's like
into
to
it.
have 2 old people at a podcast.
Well, yeah, I mean, like,
Our memories are gone.
I always remember Dave Filoni because I
Yeah.
always see his name at the end of the
Yeah.
of the things before, and I thought I liked the way it
Yeah.
sounds. Saying like Filoni, you know, it sounds pretty good. There's so
Yeah.
much stuff they're bringing in from the books and legends that so many people stuff's happening and you don't even like. Okay,
Yeah.
do you know anything about the TIE interceptors that were chasing?
No. I
Jaren
never watched the
and-
Clone Wars, so when they bring in some of the Clone War people,
Okay,
I'm like, who's
so
that?
Star
And I
Wars
have to Google it.
Rebels, what was Grand Admiral Thrawn making on Lothal in Star Wars Rebels?
I'm so glad this is being taped.
They took his money away to make the Death Star, but they were making the TIE interceptors, which were like badass.
Yeah.
See how much better they were than regular TIE fighters.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that we may get Grand Admiral Thrawn. Because they're talking about all the remnants from
Yeah.
the outer areas. Well, that's Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Didn't they
and then
cast
there's
him
TIE
already?
interceptors, and I'm sitting like, instantly. I went Thrawn like right away. And I'm sure everyone who's read the books or watched Rebels,
Yeah.
TIE interceptors. Oh crap! Grand Admiral Thrawn.
So this is why you keep you,
So-
not only to make this a little bit more manly, but to explain this stuff because I am slow to the books yet. I'm still catching up on Clone Wars. So when you explain this, I'm like, oh, okay, hey, I didn't catch that at all.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like to me, Clone Wars is pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah.
But Rebels is way better.
All right, so I'll focus on Rebels.
But it's like
I mean,
post. I mean, you'd want to wait until later on.
Okay. The only reason why I had kids was so I can go back and rewatch this.
Yeah, that's the reason. And
really don't love them. It's not
and
like
having
my kid's
sex.
gonna watch this.
Your wife wouldn't have sex with you unless it was to.
People know I've at least had sex twice.
They do know that.
Right, Maddox in LA?
Yes.
You'll never watch this. Mom, cover your ears.
Your mom had sex because your
I
brother's
know.
here.
My mom never had sex, no matter me and my brother. We were just happened by storks. That's what I'm going with.
So it wasn't the Immaculate Conception?
No. My mom is pure.
As the driven snow in Ohio.
Yes.
That is now contaminated by rail car.
Yes, not good at all.
So, how far away was that rail car thing from where you grew up? Ohio?
Pretty far, thankfully.
Oh, that's good. So the cloud only contaminated a little bit of your area.
Yes. And my mom, other than my mom who's listening to this, we know I grew up in Lexington, Ohio, had about 1,000 people, probably 2,000 maybe. Very small. We all knew each other. Very boring. Like after your life story,
Well, mine's not that nothing. Live Oak. I grew up out in the country. Actually, I wasn't.
Yeah, so that's the only thing we got going on.
But it was Live Oak. it wasn't that exciting.
Some of those Amish parties that we had in my school. Whoa, that's a whole other podcast.
No Amish.
We had a lot of Amish. All right, so that's what I wanted to talk about. We're 30 minutes in. Let's hear. We got about 20 more minutes left. Let's hear what you got. What more do you want to talk about?
Break down our time periods, and people start thinking.
Don't we need segments or something?
Yeah.
All right. So where are we going next?
So we just talked about our personal lives a little bit.
Yeah. All right. What do you got going on? Let's. What do you want to talk about? Fill up all this.
Tell us about your wife.
Ooh, she might one day listen. So
you better keep it on the down low.
Let me keep it. Is she around?
She does. I've seen her walk past, though. I've never met your wife, although I've seen her walk past.
Yes. My wife is everything that I am not.
Facts.
She is tall.
You're tall. I mean, that's not the thing you lead off with.
Yeah, she's African American. She is from the city. She is a doctor. She's very smart. She's from Boston. You get her mad, she will whip out that Boston accent.
She's wicked.
Wicked smart. Wicked smart. She is extremely athletic. She played basketball and track all through college. Was a junior Olympian. Came in 4th in Brazil. Did the Spartan race out here in Sacramento at a whim because a lot of her physical therapists asked her because they needed an extra person. Did it. Came second in the women category. Came in second.
It's pretty
amazing. I don't know why she puts up with me. I mean, it's obviously for my looks.
Well, that's a fact.
Yeah. Let's see. What else? Making sure she's not around. She could be a wee bit aggressive. Just a little bit aggressive if you get on her bad side. She's born and raised in combat. If you know anything about her family, you know that they like to argue. They like to get in your face. I'm very much more relaxed. I am like, hey, I love Star Wars. And she's like, Star what? I'm like, oh, let's go see Marvel. What's a Marvel? So people are like, why did she marry you? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, if you saw us on the street, you would think, they're not a couple.
So you're supposed to say, she only married me because...
Yeah, you know what?
But see, you didn't say that, so nobody believes it now.
Yeah, let's just go back and edit. There's 2 reasons why they could have married me. For my money, I don't have any. And my, what he said.
You gotta do this is a podcast. You gotta have special effects.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the people
See, I put
who
my
are
arm down
only-
like this, and what you do is when you edit in, you put a big eggplant right here.
Yeah, for the people who are only going to listen to this, that was a 17-foot long
Well, let's not get ridiculous.
pound of salami that he just threw on the table. Yeah, obviously, I mean, couldn't just be for my looks and sense of humor, you know? I followed her all around. I mean, we met in California, then I followed her to the East Coast and did all of her medical school training all the way up through down the coast of New Jersey. Like we started in South Jersey, went all the way up to North Jersey, cut into Manhattan, Bayside, Queens, followed her all around, went to Southern Illinois, which makes Lexington, Ohio look like a city, and then came back here to Roseville, which we thought, I was like, man, this is where all the white people live, only to learn that our county is a red county in a blue state.
Well, let's be honest.
We're like, hey, we're going to come here for diversity.
It is a purple.
We're going to come
county.
here and everything's going to be...
Placer has become a purple county
All right,
because
well...
it is very close now in elections. When I first moved here, like the congressman would win by like 75% who's
Yeah.
Republican. Now it's like down, it's dwindling, you know.
Well, that's because the outer towners like
Well,
me.
that's it. A lot of Bay Area and Los Angeles transplants, especially during
Yes,
COVID.
well, thank God, because when in Southern Illinois, I think, you know, we lived there with
It's a-
Obama.
It's a good point. So here's something like, because if there's gonna be people that may actually watch this from outside of California, and so California has a bad reputation, and
Yeah.
yes, it should. In many our politics is a complete. But if you really don't know, I think it's like 69 or 70% of the counties in California are red. They
Yeah.
vote along the same way as the Midwest, but our population centers in the Bay Area and Los Angeles and San Diego,
Yeah.
those vote.
They
win,
overwhelm.
and they take all the water from Northern California, which is why people want to have a Northern and a Southern Cal. There's all this. There's a lot, basically, from the county we're in upwards, which is the whole northern half of the state. From
Yeah.
Sacramento upwards, they're red counties, and then the middle of the state is all red counties.
Yeah,
and then
which-
you have your population centers in LA. and
We
San
didn't know
Francisco.
until we moved here, because we're like, we have,
So you what
interracial
you're saying
kids.
is you moved to a better county.
No, well, Southern Illinois, for the people and let's face it, everyone who has really never been there, because there's only like 7 people. I think, who ran against Obama? I can't remember, McCain.
McCain and Mitt Romney.
Yeah, I think they won those counties by like 80 points. I mean, they are as red can be. And we're just like, ooh, okay. Probably not the place to want to have a family of multicolors. So let's go to California. We go to California and we're driving around.
Did you guys get any
And,
direct problems?
Oh yeah, we had
Really?
we had a lot of quotes, a lot of people saying stuff to us, and we're like, all right, we're kind of getting out of this town,
That's a good idea.
and especially knowing my wife's from Boston, because she would fight, like
Oh,
she's like, and so like, okay, we got to go. Oh, Kaiser says I can work anywhere in California. I'm like, California, that's pretty liberal. Like, can't have any problems there. We were driving through Rockland and we were seeing all of these, don't tread on me.
Can't have any problems there. Oh, you're still on an emergency order, like the last state
Yeah.
to take the emergency
Well,
order.
this is
off.
before all of that. This is before we saw all the Trump 2020 flag. So we're like, okay, we're with our boss going through Rockland, and my wife's like, so what's the minority ratios here? And they're like, in Rockland, we have about maybe 1% minorities. And I'm like, black? No, that's all of them. We're like, oh, okay. And then we're going out to other places, and I'm like, okay, we're starting to see
I
some of
don't
the.
think that's true.
Confederate
I don't know about
flag?
Rockland.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about Rockland, but Roseville, large
No,
Hispanic community.
Roseville is very diverse here. We chose Roseville because
I wouldn't say diverse, but I would say
relatively speaking,
yes.
diverse. There's actually over 20% as the last census of African American communities, which I know is shocking. We live by a lot of African Americans in our neighborhood, which we were shocked about. And so yeah, we it was just, you move to California and you think, you go there, everywhere you're gonna see is like gay pride flags, and everyone's just gonna be walking up and down the streets and throwing petals at you and giving you bear hugs, and we're like,
Everybody's having
We come off
parades
the-
with assless chaps in them.
yeah, we
and
come
all
out
that
of the
stuff.
Sacramento airport, we're driving to Roseville, and all we see is like, don't tread on me. We pass like 2 Confederate flags. We're just like, wait a minute. Like, this is not the California that
There's
we were
been
talking
somebody on
about.
Main Street for years that flies the
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on?
I would just like to say,
Yeah, I've seen the house on Main Street where you live. Yeah,
there's no Confederate flags there. I am a conservative.
Yeah.
I was raised that way. I was a huge fan of Ronald Reagan. When I was growing up, they used to call me, my sisters and mom would go, you're like Alex P. Keaton,
Yeah.
like from Family Ties. I was a huge,
Yeah.
but then as I grew older, I am a conservative, but I'm also very moderate. I don't care about social
You are.
issues.
you are.
Smoke your weed, marry whoever you want to. I don't care about the religious bull crap now. Like when you get into, certain
Just
things,
don't-
I just want government to be small. So whenever we're
Yeah.
talking about these things, it's like, I grew up and all my best friends were Hispanic. I just never, and East Indian and Pakistani. And
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up and that's what, in my school, even though it's an hour north of here and
Yeah.
very conservative county compared to even Roseville
Yeah.
or the Placer County, because Roseville has changed, it's still conservative, but when you go up
It
the
won't
hill,
be much conservative much longer.
No,
I'm
because-
telling you, all
yeah.
of us.
all the transplants.
Yes, we have. Mom, you probably don't remember, but when we first moved here, there was pretty much no West Park, which was where a part of Roseville, which I am, and now it's like 70,000 people. It seems like it's going on for days and days. They're
Crazy.
just building, crazy building. So
And there's
kiss your. Don't tread on me, Confederate flags. Goodbye, because
well,
we're going to outnumber
they're
them
not
with our
me.
gay pride.
Now, don't tread on me. I do like that one, but no Confederate flags.
Little do you know that on his Charger, he
That's
has
in racist on my Charger. I am
He
like the
has-
most racist person in the world.
a Black Lives Matter,
I don't have that either.
gay pride, followed by a Confederate flag and Blue Lives Matter. He's very complex.
And then there's
People fly up on him. I'm like, I don't know whether I
there's
should hate him or not.
Trump 2024 because I want my car to be vandalized.
Yeah, that's right. He has.
I don't put anything. I put. You know what I do have? What do I have on my?
You have Spartan.
I have the Spark. That's all I have on there because I am
Lame.
not. I am not number one. I like politics nowadays. I told I used
stay
to be
away from
really into
politics.
politics.
Yeah.
I've been away from it for years now because if you can't get along with someone because they
Crazy.
have a different view of what's going on, that's what free speech is.
Yeah.
And nowadays it's like you're vilified for having free speech. And so
Yeah.
I just don't even give a rat's ass that much anymore. Is our country slowly being destroyed and are we on the downward slide? Yeah, I think so. But
Other than that,
that's changed. That's what happens.
Yeah.
All great civilizations eventually go downwards. And so
to be fair, my dad, who was very conservative, thought that it was my generation that was making this country
no.
crappy.
No.
I remember him telling us, in the 80s, oh my God, this country will never live to see 2000 because you kids and your G.I. Joes and your Robotech and your Transformers and your whatever you
Just-
watch and your
here's the thing.
Atari.
just think of the words he used to describe you and try to use them.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, old man, So who knows? I faith
my
your
dad-
kids
my dad-
will save us all.
My dad many times said, "Boy, you're worthless as the tits on a boar hog." And guess what?
That should be our first review.
Yeah.
Our podcasts are worth as much as
The tits on a boar hog.
yes. That's not quoted. That should be our next
There's a bunch
logo.
of people. There'll be a bunch of people like going, "What does that mean?
Yeah.
Tits on a boar hog."
See,
Do you know what it means?
In our family, all right, we have,
A lot of hogs.
well, yes, but
But I'm talking about the actual animal, not the people.
you're talking to another farmer, bro. We're farmer bros. We have lips on a chicken. Like yours, worthless as lips on a chicken. Not as harsh as yours. Thanks, Dad. Felt
My
the
dad
love.
had some good ones. My sisters know a bunch of them. I remember a few of them.
We feel sorry.
Yeah,
for your
great
kids.
sayings.
That's good. We only have about
sweating like a whore in church.
colder than a witch's tit.
Well, that's like a given. I mean, everybody knows that one.
So we have about 7 more minutes. How do you want to close this out? This is good. This is like our most personal one.
Yeah, I don't want to get in this personal crap anymore. It's like,
Now after this, they'll know all about
she'll
you.
start asking me about
What made you cry? Did you hug your mom?
what is a good relationship for you, or what is this?
You're like, so did you love your dad?
My dad was the best.
Did your mom hug you enough when you were young?
Yeah, I had the best parents in the world.
Wrong. My parents were the best because I gave them a mug that said so.
All right. Look at that. And
All right.
this.
You know what though? Look at the hair.
And
Sure,
I'm well
it's nearly-
adjusted. I was able to raise 2 kids on my own.
That's
well,
true.
And you're raising.
I'm barely raising 2 with help, with better help.
Yeah. But you're doing it.
Well,
Brad has a lot of difficulties and stresses on him.
Yes, I know, and you might get to meet one because one of these days I'm sure he's going to be here as we have the podcast. However,
How are we going to do that?
he'll just have to like sit right here and poke stuff.
Hey!
Yeah.
how's it going?
Put down those barbells, buddy.
Why are you peeing on your dad's leg?
Yeah, I'm so. This brings me to another thing. I so want him to work with you because every time I take him to the doctor's like, he's the biggest kid I've ever seen. He's like, he's off the charts, man. Like, you got to get him in sports. He's 100%. He's over 100 percentile in weight. He's over 100 percentile in height. Like, he's just big. And I'm like, I
It
know.
would be good for channeling his energy, like getting.
Yes, I need to bring him here, but like you just have to have like a kid thing. We're just like, yeah, you see that big heavy thing? Just pick it up and move it over here, and just let him. Because I'm telling you, he's a moose. That's his nickname, as I call him Moose. So, gotta bring him in. We need you. And since you're such a better parent, I think we should have like a Ask Casey Parenting section
You mean
going
how I
forward.
would handle situations?
Yes, because his kids are much older than mine. Mine are 9 and soon to be 7. His kids are out of the house.
No, they're not.
I'm just getting into my
They're
daughter.
not out of the house. I wish they were. Actually,
Right.
I don't. I actually like. I mean, it would
I know,
be pretty quiet. I mean, my life in the last year has
Yeah.
changed, so it's become very quiet.
Yeah, but my kid's just 9. Like, remember when your daughter's just starting to get into the side eyes, eye rolls, kind of like.
She started early. She had a lot of personality.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of that sass from my daughter, and I'm like, oh, I get that from my wife, and now I'm like, I feel overwhelmed. And normally you'd have a son that would help you, kind of like level it out, but my son just doesn't care about anything. He's just like, whatever, dude, I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna rule into my autism. I don't care. Whatever. So I feel, I need some parenting advice. So.
Well, you
Just
write
be
down a
prepared.
list of questions,
Oh, I
and
got
I'll
plenty.
give you my answers.
I got plenty.
And I'm sure if we ever have people to follow us on the internet, they would be like, "Don't do that."
Yeah, Mom, I know you're listening and you always want to give advice. You don't have to give comments because I know what you're going to say. Because she tells me all the time. I just ignore half of it because, she grew up at a different time than we did.
Different time. But then again, there's a point to where we grew up in a different time.
I know.
Than our kids. It's like,
My mom's like, can't you just spank him? I'm like, it really doesn't work with autism. No.
today the problem is there's no reality anymore. It's like there's no factual reality because people challenge the facts.
Yeah, everyone has their own truth.
And everybody's like, you can't have your own truth,
It's like, Brad, you're soft. Stop doing planks. Like, no, man, I'm not soft. This is my truth. I identify as ripped and in shape.
Yes.
I don't care what you say to me. Tell me. You know what? My gender noun is badass.
Well.
All right? So there you go. No more mister. We got a message on your computer.
We did.
Yeah.
It said this thing's about ready to die, but this camera's sucking all the energy out of it.
Yeah, well, it's a good time. We need to wrap up.
Yeah. So next time, you're going to come up with some parenting ideas.
Yeah, you're going to have a schedule. I'll have parenting ideas.
We haven't really dove in.
This is only episode 2.
But we really haven't dove in to Marvel, DC, all this shit going on.
Yes.
There's some other good stuff out there.
You have to
watch. We got to start hitting some Colonel Bennett because now we can do the whole.
Yeah.
You're going to come from the liberal point of view. I'll come from the conservative, but the moderate conservative.
And I'm a
socially moderate and physically conservative.
I am a conservative liberal. You are a liberal conservative.
Yeah.
And that's how we roll. Can you hurry up and just watch freaking Ant-Man so we can talk about it?
I actually don't really want. Well, I will. I do.
Come on for the podcast.
I will wait for that one to come out.
Oh my god!
But Shazam, I'm really interested in going to see
right.
because I did think it was going to be good. So, but Ant-Man's, I'm probably waiting until Disney. You know what? I used to go to the movie theater all the time, and ever since COVID happened, I went and saw some movies, but I'm just like,
you're so soft.
I'm just like, why do I want to get off my couch and go watch a movie?
Small government. Oh, I'm so scared to sit in a movie theater. What happened?
No, it's not scared. It's
Are you scared enough?
No, it got to where I just like staying home.
No, man.
So I'm like I'll order DoorDash instead of go out. I do like to go out to dinner, but I have went to movies, but it has to be something that really gets me like.
Lame.
I could give a rat's ass about Avatar and blah,
Let it be known that I have seen movies all throughout COVID. Maskless. And I'm the liberal one. I would sit and breathe all the other people's air. I don't care.
I don't care about that.
I'm out supporting.
I've got to where I really like being in my
brothers
house.
and sisters.
I got a nice TV, a nice system. I bought a new
care.
sectional that is very comfortable, and I just sit there and go, I just watch this movie right on my big screen, and then I get up and use the bathroom and hit pause whenever I want it.
Now, do you think I wanted to go see Thor: Love and Thunder? No, I was out there doing God's work.
It was not that bad of a movie. I liked it. It wasn't
Thor:
great.
Love and Thunder in the center.
And I did not watch it at the
middle center.
Did I? I did watch that.
See?
Yeah, I did watch that.
I watched all the movies because I am not afraid. I'm not going to let the man keep me down, bro. It
has nothing to do about fear. It has to come with almost
You're letting
like
the
a
man
level of
keep
comfort.
me down.
I just don't want to go get number one, they've raised the price on everything because they're not making money like they used to because everybody's like me and wants to stay home.
Hey, they got
now
chairs that vibrate.
They're charging fees if you buy your tickets online now. You know that?
I don't care.
$1.30, I think, or something.
They
I went
got
to buy
chairs
and they're
that
like,
vibrate.
I was like, screw this. And then one of my clients
You
told
can
me.
get beers now. They bring them to your chairs.
Yeah, I don't know.
They got the seats back.
I gotta drive home. I don't need.
I was there the whole time. COVID, just throwing it out there to the people. Sorry,
Dude,
Mom.
I flew to Montana in summer of 2020. I don't give a crap about COVID. I was never afraid of it. I was like trying to figure out how I could volunteer to take for them to test COVID on, inject me with COVID. I just want to get it because here was my fear. My fear was, all right, I haven't had COVID. I'm going to go back to work and then I'm going to have to miss another 2 weeks of work because I got COVID.
Well,
so I was like, give it to me now. I was never scared of COVID.
Those who know my son and know anything about young kids know that toddlers and young kids and kids with autism are just gross. They're just gross. They touch everything. They lick everything. They don't wipe their face. They don't wash their hands. I always thought, you know what? I'm sure COVID is bad, but it's probably the 17th worst thing that my son will give me during COVID because he went to school the whole time. They really don't therapy and all the other things, they don't stop in COVID. They just in-person therapy with a bunch of other gross kids. God knows what he was bringing up to COVID.
Well, you missed like
I'm
6
sure.
weeks, I think, with COVID.
Yes,
COVID
I
again.
had everything gone to man until finally COVID's like, you know what? You are so covered in germs and grossness that we're not even going to bother you anymore.
They finally gave you medicine once you had anal seepage,
Well,
so, they said, well, we need to give you something for that. That's not good, so.
Again, what I do on Friday night deserves to be on a whole other episode. And speaking of anal seepage, I think we should wrap it up right there. I mean, how do you top that?
I'm sure we can start talking about something else. And
Next week we'll top anal seepage.
All right, so we're out.
Check his
Do or
website.
Do Not podcast. We'll see you on the third
we didn't
episode.
even say the name of our podcast.
Yeah, I did at the start.